Welcome and good morning. You are watching Traders Next Door. I'm your host, Edgar Kartashabe, and this is the latest scoop. Now, experts are expecting a period of increased volatility in the markets. So for the next few months, things are going to get a little bit shaken up, and this is why. So in recent economic data, things have been very mixed. The most recent example is yesterday's PMI scores coming in. Manufacturing PMI down 48 out of an expected 49.5, while services PMI was up 55.2 out of an expected 54. This has been the trend over the last few months if you look at CPI, NFP, PMI, and the like. So we've had a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to the data that has been coming out, and that has had an impact and is going to have an impact on things moving forward. Also, we have that rate cut is also going to have its own effect on the market going forward. We also have the US elections coming up really soon, and we have two very different candidates between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. What that's going to look like for the economy for the next 4 years in the US, depending on the two candidates, which one ends up going forward, that is going to look likely very different. So the expectations on that result and the monetary policy that's going to follow is having its own little effect on the market. And not to understate the geopolitical tensions and conflicts we have going around the world right now, those also have their little influence on the market conditions, and expectations on what's going to happen is affecting how the markets are behaving. So with all that in consideration, experts are predicting that over the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to have a period of increased volatility in the market. This means that if new all-time highs are created in the markets, they are not likely to be sustained for very long. There's going to be a lot of uptrend, a lot of downtrend. The bulls and bears are going to be at each other's throats over the foreseeable future in the next coming months until a period of certainty comes to the markets and we can cool things off a little bit more. So the rate cut that's going to be predicted to be announced today, that is going to have a effect on the market, but most of that has already been priced in. So we're not expecting a large uptake or a large volume of movement to the upside. What typically happens historically after a rate cut is we're probably going to have a major corrective pullback. So in your trading, be on the lookout for that once it's announced, but that pullback is likely to lag over a certain number of months. Rate cut effects don't tend to happen immediately. They are a lagging indicator of some sorts of what's going to happen over the next few weeks. It's going to take some time for the economic data to reflect the rate cut coming forward. So if the rate cut does happen in September as it's expected to happen, we're going to have to look for in the months after that what the CPI numbers are like, what the NFP numbers are like, what unemployment is going to look like, what the home sales are going to look like, and those economic data points are what's going to drive the market in the immediate term future. The rate cut itself is just a trend of where we're going to go long term, a prediction of where we're going to go long term, but the data that follows that rate cut, that's actually the important part that we need to look at. So we're going to have to see what the numbers look like, what Powell decides to do tonight during his speech. Is he going to announce the rate cut coming in September? Is the Fed actually going to punt that down the line? These are things that we have left to be known. We're going to find out a little bit more tonight. But if the soft landing the Fed has been trying to do does actually come to fruition, then in the long term, it looks like it's going to be positive for the markets. But if they delay this rate cut, if there are any signs that they may have been off, they may have delayed it too soon, the market is likely not going to respond positively. So be on the lookout for this during your trading sessions. Be aware of the economic data coming out and use that to make good decisions. And that is the latest scoop. We have Chris Dix in the background with a couple questions.
Ed, yeah, we're standing outside of the Bank of Japan where the financial minister Suzuki they've intervened in the forex market. So for the guys that are trading yen, It was a beautiful morning for your stops to get clapped if you were on the wrong side. And then also we've got Jackson Hole Symposium, where we will be later on the ground. We've got Mo actually at Wyoming, where he will be interviewing Jerome Powell, asking him about that 25% or 0.25 basis point cut a little bit later today. So a lot of BOJ headlines coming through, and then obviously Big Daddy Powell in Jackson Hole. Is he going to put the dollar back in the hole? I don't know, but we're going to see. But all headlines this morning, Suzuki, not the vehicle maker, but Japan Suzuki, the bank governor of the Bank of Japan, busy with some interventions. So a good day, good Freaky Friday for Japan. So keep an eye out for that. But other than that, big shout out to our main man, Ed, here on the ground with us. And we'll see you guys for the opening bell.
Thank you, Chris Dix. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Traders Next Door. I've been your host, Edgar Kartashabe, and that is the latest scoop. We will see you again next week.